Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the podcast today. I'm working on growing my YouTube channel at Swire-Clark. I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and like any and all videos that provide value to you. All of the podcasts can be found there, as well as lots of different video content on emotional intelligence and how you can apply it to improve your personal and professional relationships. Thanks for subscribing, and now on to the show. Why can't my girlfriend and I get along? Why can't we just get along, man? Sometimes I just want to get along. Okay, back off. I'm professional. Okay, now why can't we get along? Well, it's pretty simple, because she thinks you're crazy and you think she's crazy. In this video, we're going to find out that neither one of you are crazy. You just have different personalities. Stay tuned to find out more.
Welcome to the Rapport Advantage Podcast, transforming the way leaders communicate. Here's your host, human behavior expert and professional speaker, Swire-Clark.
So why do couples fight all the time? It's pretty simple. Couples don't understand each other well enough. So how do we get to that point of understanding? Well, first of all, it starts with self-awareness, then it's an understanding of others, and then learning to adapt our behavior, because that's when real quality communication comes in. We're going to be talking about the DISC model of human behavior today. So if you haven't had a chance to look at those videos, in the description below, there is a link to the high D, high I, high S, and high C videos. And all those really dive deep into breaking down this model of human behavior that we're going to be discussing today. So in terms of talking about you and your girlfriend, let's think about who is she and who are you? So let's talk about you first. I can divide the world into two kinds of people, okay? Washington Redskins fans, woo, let's go. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody likes the Redskins because we're terrible. Maybe in 4 or 5 years when you're watching this video, we'll be a little bit better. But right now, we are not good. Anyway, I can divide the world into those folks who are outgoing and then folks who are more reserved. An outgoing person is a person who's fast-paced, enthusiastic, full of life, ready to go, moving all the time. I mean, life is just all about getting to the next thing. Okay, they really enjoy that kind of stuff. And a reserved person, a little slower paced, a little more discerning, slower to get started on projects and whatnot, not going to be the first person to speak up in a situation. When we're talking about this fast and slow and this outgoing versus reserved, we're talking about this internal motor that you have, your pace. So if I have an outgoing person, a fast-paced person in front of me, and I lean in and listen to their internal motor, it sounds like this. I mean, they're ready. They're in a Ferrari. It's ready to go as fast as they possibly can. If I'm talking to a reserved person, I lean in close to them and listen to their internal motor. It sounds like this. And if they get really excited, it sounds like this. Never too high, never too low, which is a beautiful characteristic. But if you're an outgoing person, you don't understand why these people can't get fired up. I mean, let's go. We're going to a ball game. We're going to cheer for the team. Let's rock and roll. Yay. They're just not going to get that crazy excited. So if you're outgoing and you know you're outgoing, okay, let's put a little mental check box there. Dink. Or if you're reserved, let's check that mental box. Now let's move on to a situation where we discover, are we more of a people-oriented person or more task-oriented? People-oriented folks are all about feelings and caring and sharing and the opinions of others, versus a task-oriented person who's all about process, form, function, organization, and getting things done. So from a people-oriented standpoint and a task-oriented standpoint, this is where the majority of conflict comes in. In fact, studies show that 90% of all conflict comes from this division. It's not the original one we talked about, the outgoing versus reserved. It's this people-oriented versus task-oriented side of things. So let's think about that for a minute. Let me give you an example. My wife, huge task-oriented person. On a scale of 100, she is 100. So tasks are her thing, getting stuff done all the time in an organized way. For me, I'm this people-oriented person over here. I'm all about the experiences and the feelings and emotions and stuff. Now, wait a minute. Aren't girls supposed to be like the touchy-feely people and the guy's supposed to be all this direct and get things done? You would think so, but those are gender stereotypes. Your personality, your temperament, your culture, all that plays a factor. So in the relationship with my wife, I'm actually the touchy-feely guy. She's the person that's driven, that wants to see our kids succeed, always checking their homework, making sure they're on task, making sure they've got their scholarship applications for our senior taken care of, making sure they're going to go to the best college and they work their hardest and get to the maximum of their potential. Me? Psst, man, I'm just on the floor playing games. I'm the guy who takes his kid out in the back and stands him 50 yards away and shoots him in the back with a paintball. Oh, and he's on the ground. Oh, Dad, why'd you shoot me? Well, you got to be able to take it on the field if you're going to come play. And so he starts to stand back up and I shoot him again in the back. Just to make sure, again, he's my son. He's got to be able to take it. Now, who does that? Some illogical person like me. I'm a high I. That's what I do. So from that standpoint, we're not worried about gender roles, and it's all about who you are as a person. So people-oriented versus task. On a weekend, as a people-oriented person, oh my gosh, I just want to go hang out with people. And the more people, the merrier. And the more different people I can find, the merrier. I've got a board game group that I like to spend time with. And then I've got my paintball team that's over here that I like to spend time with. And then I've got my people over here who like to go just to the little Frankie's Fun Park, and we play putt-putt or do whatever else. And so I'm hopping from here to over here to over here with all these different friends. And my wife doesn't understand that. She's task-oriented. Why you have to be gone all the time? Why can't you spend time with me? Well, I like spending time with you, but I also like spending time in these other places. So your girlfriend may be one of these people who likes to spend time with everyone else, and you may be more of these task-oriented person who says, hey, sweetheart, why don't you spend more time with me? See any potential conflict there? Let's get back to that weekend example. If I'm spending time with my buddies and so forth, or my family, okay, doing all those different things, task-oriented people over on this side, man, we're getting up on Saturday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to Lowe's to pick up plants. By 7 o'clock, we're back home cutting grass. By 8 o'clock, we're doing the laundry. 9 o'clock, we've got, we're making lunches for the rest of the week. Just all this big, long list of to-dos that those task-oriented people like to get done. Man, just thinking about that just wears me out right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, my Saturdays are just going to be bogged down. When's the time for me? When's some me time? Okay. People versus tasks. The task-oriented people, get it all done. Let's do it, but let's have some fun doing it, and not necessarily as much. Again, you can see where we might have some potential conflict there. 90%, as I said, of all conflict comes from this division, people versus task. And if we don't understand that, we're going to continually butt heads, and our miscommunication is going to go through the roof, and our understanding of one another way down. Are you an outgoing or reserved person? Are you people or task-oriented? And what's your girlfriend? Because that's a really good question too. Understand yourself, then you understand others, and then you learn how to adapt to relationships. Everyone is a unique blend of these 4 traits. No one's just outgoing, and no one's just reserved, and no one's just a task-oriented or just a people-oriented person. We're all a unique blend of these things. If you really want to know who you are, look in the description box below. There's a link to our store page where you can find assessments. Very, very inexpensive, less than 20 bucks a piece. You can really have a deep dive into who you are, and that's going to help transform the way you communicate with your girlfriend or your significant other. Again, go back, description below. High D, I, S, and C will give you some examples of what to look for in the likes, motivators, and really good descriptive words that describe each one of these styles, and that will help you with your social awareness and get you to understand your girlfriend that much better. See you next time.